Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the video. This is fishing blog number 142, and I wanted to start off with this today because, well, it's just getting kind of silly. It's almost at the Day of the Triffids kind of thing. It's creeping everywhere, getting into all the tanks, and I mean, this is the best that Red Luigi has grown outside of an aquarium since I started keeping it. I mean, it is a hardy plant, but if you remember from the other side of the fish room when I had it doing the same sort of thing there, it would get out about 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 inches, and then it would start to wither and die. I don't think it's any more humid down here. As a matter of fact, we're in the middle of winter, so the humidity in the house is a lot less. But for some reason, it is doing really well down here, and even though, I mean, as you can see here, I mean, this really does need to be pruned back. I'm going to let it go for a little while longer, see what it does, and see if it will continue to do as well as it looks right now, which is kind of cool. May have to move the fish out, but other than that, things are doing really well in there. So here's the Kerbensis, and I've been waiting to see if Mom and Dad are going to lay any more eggs while their first batch is still here. So far, no real activity, no aggression towards anybody. As you can see, all the fins are nice and full. Babies are completely ignoring the parents at this point. Obviously, they're big enough now to be on their own if they're out in the wild, so you know they just cruise around looking for food, and well, they're happy, so that's fine. If I ever get around to clean out some more tanks, I will move them out and get another batch going. So this filter continues to look ugly. It's better than it was, and I mean, it's keeping that tank, as you can see, crystal clear and free of algae and everything else. So my only complaint about it is it doesn't look like this. I mean, it looks so much nicer to me. So anyway, that's hardly reason enough to go and strip it all down at this point. Anyway, so as you can tell, I have very little time on my hands at the moment to do much of anything really, let alone completely reset that filter. When I first started deciding to breed these guys again, I was mostly in the old school mentality of breeding Gardneri, which is a male, 2 or 3 females, pull eggs, raise fry, keep them all relatively separate. But this is just thriving. I mean, they're doing so well. I actually expect at some point in time in the near future for there to be fry swimming around in this as well. So much for how people used to raise these guys. I mean, they're very well, as you can see here, in large groups in an aquarium. So they don't kill each other. There's no real anything that's I would call as a negative, except possibly, I'm not sure yet, the lack of breeding, but we'll see. We'll let that go for quite a while because, again, time. So as you remember, last week I had stripped some of the tanks on the other side of a lot of plants, and I wanted to thin out the platies, so I put a bunch of them over in here, and they are all settling in, and as you can see, everybody's happy. I think probably a little bit more so because, well, there's a lot more room in here now. There's fewer fish, and they all seem to be getting along. There's no, again, sometimes the problem with platies is if you get more than one male in a tank, they'll duke it out, and one of them really does poorly. So far, not so much in this particular batch. I mean, I have experienced that many times before in the past, but we'll see. Again, one of these things I'll just keep an eye on. And as you can see, the plants up here are doing very, very well, and these guys, even though I put that Java moss in there now, 2 weeks ago, still haven't moved them out. I need to move them next door and see if there are going to be any fry in here. I will hopefully get to that sometime in the near future. Again, time. So I set this up. It's now doing well. It's in the percolating stage. Like I said, I just put a few, just took a scoop of guppies out of that tank to the right, the big pond, and just waiting to see how this matures. I don't have any concerns for it, but it does take time for these things to grow out. So far, it's doing really well, and I don't see it having any issues. I mean, there's plenty of filtration there for a handful of guppies. I feed them, and we'll just let that go. Now, I've been waiting. I'm going to keep waiting for a little while longer. I just keep watering this, and I'll see if the fly trap survives. And if it does, I will do something better than the last time, hopefully, and try and get that to grow out. As you can see, this has not been touched. It's got a lot of plants in it. Oh well, it is one of those things. Like I said, with a new job and well, the old business as well on top of that, been pretty busy. It's only going to get more so. So these are the jars I had set up. I condensed all the bottles into a handful of these guys and been adding well, the hay, and I decided, as was recommended, and I actually have a piece of black acrylic, it is I wanted to show you how well they're doing here with a piece of black behind it so you can see them better. And as you can see, there are an awful lot of cyclopses, which is the part that probably surprises me the most. But you can see there's also Daphne in there, and well, what you can't see, there's also Paramecia in there. So it's all doing quite well. These are 3 different jars. I didn't bother pulling I think it's a 2.5 gallon aquarium out to show you that. But they're all roughly the same as this. So, I mean, they're all doing quite well. So now I wanted to show you the other thing. This is what I have pruned back to try and show you the Culiloches and a few other things, and of course move the platies out. As you see, it's all settled down now, and it's doing very well. I mean, I haven't had any issues with any of them. These guys here have a bit more room now. And well, even though I had intended for this tank and the tank to the right you're going to see in a second to be part of an experiment to see the difference between a box filter and another Growler filter, I haven't really noticed any difference. So pulling a few of those fry out and putting them in a bigger tank just for grow out, I don't think it's going to have any effect on the experiment anyway. I need to do the same, as you can see, for a lot of the Zebra Danios that are in there. There's just too many in such a small tank. I mean, they are 15-gallon tanks, and they are only, of course, Zebra Danios, but they still do need a bit more space. So that's these 4 tanks that the one on the right I didn't do anything with, but a lot of pruning, a lot more pruning that needs to be done. And this is going to be the last of the new things I wanted to show you. This is the new little breeding group for guppies that I had set up. And again, there's nothing really new to report other than the fact that they're settling in. As you can see, they're all looking for food and everybody's happy. And I haven't shown you these guys in a little while, so I thought I would. I had to pull out a pair to bring to a client's tank. But other than that, it is moving along quite nicely. It does need to put all the stuff I've said with all the other tanks needs to happen to this one, and hopefully I'll get to that. Well, thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for watching, and leave comments. Let me know what you think of all this, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.